I'm about to tell you all the traits that you need to have to become a successful trader. All information in this video is for educational purposes only and is not an offer, recommendation to trade future stocks, options, or Forex. So this is not a trading strategy video, but I'd say this is even more important than having a trading strategy video, because if you don't have these qualities, it doesn't really matter what your strategy is. It's going to be very hard to make it in trading, because trading is a extremely tough endeavor, especially to make it a full-time career. It is no easy thing to do. So this is not an exhaustive, or there is probably other qualities that you could throw into this, but these are the main ones. I've been trading full-time for years, and these are things I just feel like you really need to understand. If there's 9 things here, you need to check off at least probably 7 of them, ideally all of them. The more that you check off, the more successful you will be. So let's go through these and just kind of talk about them a little bit. Creativity is the first one. It's pretty interesting for trading. A lot of people think traders may be just super data-driven, analytical, black and white, binary people, but I've found myself and other traders that I know, and I've even heard from people who run like prop shops and funds and stuff, they want people who think out of the box. It may have even been Warren Buffett who said they would rather have like a 110 IQ person than a 150 IQ person, because if you overthink too much and don't have enough kind of free flow and creative side thinking out of the box, it's going to be hard to make strategies and to change your strategies. Be like water, be able to flow as markets change. So creativity is the first one. Discipline, I think this is an obvious one. I put in all caps, stick to your plan. You should be coming in with a plan. You should have a process. You should have, if X, and X, I guess you could say X, Y, and Z happens, then I'm going to long, and I'm going to hold until here. You need a plan, and you need to stick to it. If you don't, you will probably not be successful at this game, because it's a game that, there's very smart and resource-heavy people out there who know the human condition. They know the monkey mind, the lizard brain, and they know how to, if the market's ultimately going to go up, they know how to squeeze people lower to make you be long, go down, close at a loss, and then rip it back the other way. So the really only way to avoid getting toyed with too much is to have discipline. Part of discipline, kind of similar, is patience. Patience is just not swinging at every possible trade. This is a quote from our guy Warren Buffett over here. He was talking about Ted Williams, the baseball player, and how him and Charlie have learned from Ted. And his quote, it has more before this, kind of giving context to Ted, who had a good batting average, and said, waiting for the fat pitch would mean a trip to the Hall of Fame. Swinging indiscriminately would mean a ticket to the minors. This I've learned from experience. And I know I'm not the only one. Patience is so important that you do not overtrade. Maybe even start your day of saying, hey, I'm only going to take 4 trades today. I'm going to take 5 trades. They put a cap on your trades, and that'll force you to have patience. And you just have to be comfortable to sit there and not take trades. It's part of it. That's why I put that fisherman on this first slide. Sometimes you just have to sit there. I like to think of fishermen. I like to think of hunters. If a doe goes walking by, you don't necessarily want to kill it. It's not going to give you the most good food for your family. You want a 10-point buck to come walking by, and that's when you're going to shoot. So it's very similar with the patience in market. Risk management, obviously, also super important. I think this book by Annie Duke, Thinking in Bets, is it's not a trading book. She was actually a professional poker player, but I think there's a lot of overlap. Just like I said with creativity and like musicians and artists, poker players actually also translate well into traders, because they understand folding quickly folding when you need to, and when you have a good hand, really putting your chips in. Obviously, with markets, there's not as much bluffing and human interaction with that because it's all so computer driven these days, but it's very similar in understanding risk management. We have with Ninjacators tons of videos speaking on risk management. That's something it's crucial. You have patience to wait on a good trade. You enter with your discipline once you have your setup, and then you manage your risk. To get to these things, I think it helps to be analytical, to be able to analyze data, trends, technical stuff on charts. If you can code, it's not a deal breaker. If you can't code, being able to code and run back tests and stuff is definitely a quality you would love to have. It would be beneficial. It would speed up your process of becoming consistently profitable. So I mentioned it earlier, adaptability. Markets often change, and so should you. If 2022, when the Fed starts hiking rates, after 2020 and 2021, let's say from the bottom of the COVID era, where the markets just ripped, if you thought markets only went up in 2022, you had a really bad year. You have to be able to take information as it comes and build strategies around that. So you have to be adaptable. And then decisiveness. This is crucial, being able to pull the trigger when you get, if you have your patience and risk management, you've done your analytical side, you're adaptable to the market, you have an idea of what you want. At the end of the day, you have to be able to pull the trigger. If you get trigger shy, no money gets made. So you have to have a decisiveness on what you're going to do and then get in and out of a trade. A little different is self-awareness and being emotionally stable, the mental part of trading. And this goes, I think, mostly into discipline and patience, if I had to relate it to other ones. But you have to know if you're not having maybe mentally a good day, if you don't feel right, your mind isn't right. You got to be able to zoom out and look at yourself and say, hey, I got frustrated this trade and then I oversized. And that, there's a learning process to that. I don't think most people would not come into the market with perfect awareness and not want to double down if a trade's going against them. But over time, and this really, journaling is important. Journaling helps so much with this, just to kind of understand where you are emotionally. And then having a short memory. Short memory is kind of in the same camp as self-awareness. It's just kind of a weird angle on it. Have the memory of a goldfish. Don't let your last trade, if it's a losing trade, if you lose 5 trades in a row, that doesn't mean you need to 5x your size on this next trade to make it back. Just let your next trade be the next trade. You don't need to feel like you're clawing out of a hole. Let every trade just be the next trade with the same, you may change size depending on quality of setup and stuff, but never take trades just based on your last trade. So these are all, I think, the most important qualities of a trader. Again, there could be other stuff, but these are crucial. Warren Buffett here had so much patience and discipline and, all of this stuff. This is Jim Simons. He started Renaissance, which is, I believe, the best performing hedge fund. And he didn't do, Warren's a value investor, buying good companies that cash flow. This dude is just he really thrived here analytically, math guru, taught math courses in college, and actually didn't start a fund, I believe, until his later 40s. And then he's worth $20 or $30 billion now, running a lot of quant models. So, interesting guys. There's tons of people to learn from, but these qualities are crucial. You have to have, the right mind for it, but also be able to be creative and be adaptable. So it's not just, I'm not incredible at math, therefore I'm not going to be a good trader. That's not how it works at all. You can not be good at math at all, be good with technicals, be good with risk management, and all these other things, and do just fine. So these are ultimately a lot of qualities that you need to have to be a great trader.